Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today let's talk about Dragon Age Veilguard and Dungeons and Dragons. All right, so I wanted to talk about Dragon Age Veilguard is a brand new AAA video game that just released, and it got in trouble. It got in trouble exactly the way Dungeons and Dragons gets in trouble, right? Some kind of frou-for-all over on Twitter, like and people complaining about, some kind of cultural misstep, right? Now, Dungeons and Dragons gets this all the time. Actually, what's really wild is Dungeons and Dragons gets in trouble constantly, absolutely constantly. Not a single product they release is free of controversy. Right now, why? So if that's the case, why isn't Dungeons and Dragons done? Why haven't these OSRs and these indies taken it over? Well, what's really wild is Dungeons and Dragons is exactly like Donald Trump, absolutely Teflon. It's able to turn controversy into fuel, and Dungeons and Dragons has done that. And what I think is interesting is they get so much controversy that a lot of people are like, is Dungeons and Dragons literally creating controversy on purpose? The answer is no. The reason why it looks that way is every single product Dungeons and Dragons does gets more attention than all the OSR and all the indie products combined, right? Literally, errata of Dungeons and Dragons outpaces coverage-wise the biggest releases of the OSR and the indie, right? Like Dungeons and Dragons errata got more attention than Shadow Dark. It's wild. It's really wild. So what did Dragon Age Veilguard get in trouble for? Well, they got roasted on a million different, like not a million, like literally 1,000 channels, like roasted him over this. Snarky J covered it, Asmongold covered it, a whole bunch, right? And so what did Dragon Age Veilguard do? Well, first of all, they thought, hey, our video game would be the greatest place to educate people on how to handle it when you misgender someone, right? So a character in their medieval-based fantasy video game used the wrong pronoun for another character, right? So another character goes by they, them, right? And and then realizes that they misgendered, right? That they used the wrong pronoun. Not even a gender issue because it was they, them. That's not a gender, right? And said, oh, you know what I need to do now? I need to do 10 push-ups. That's the right way to apologize. And then begins to lecture. And then the person who was mispronounced says, hey, it's okay. You don't have to do anything. It's fine, right? You said I'm sorry, right? Like, it's fine, right? But she goes, but then this character, who is not the one who was mispronounced, then lectures the person who was mispronounced and says, no. Let me tell you how I should apologize to you. And goes on a sermon. And I'm talking a full-on, let me get my notes out. I'm at the podium, bottle of water on the podium, choir behind me sermon, right? And here's the issue. This character was not the person who had different pronouns. It's not the person who was offended, right? It was really bad. Like it was completely and utterly inappropriate in every way, right? And it was outrageously wrong. It was just really, really bad and wrong, right? And Dragon Age Veilguard just got roasted exactly the way Dungeons and Dragons does, right? Now here's the kicker, right? Dragon Age can't do what Hasbro does, right? Dragon Age can't do what Dungeons and Dragons does. Dungeons and Dragons has been attacked so many times on its product that it has learned the perfect parry, and it can turn controversy into fuel. But Dragon Age Veilguard did not turn into fuel for Dragon Age Veilguard. So the reason why I wanted to talk about it today is, one, I wanted to acknowledge that Dungeons & Dragons is not the only medieval fantasy product that gets in trouble, right? It's the only one that can turn its trouble into nitro, right? And push its product further with it, in my humble opinion. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider like subscribing and have a fetch millennium.